Hi everyone. Just a heads up that this podcast does contain explicit language throughout, so if you are listening with underage listeners, please beware. I hope you enjoy the podcast. Hello and welcome back to the EMJ PGA Podcast. This is episode 9. Thank you very much for listening. We massively appreciate those of you who are listening on a weekly basis, now up to 2 episodes a week, because as I've mentioned previously, we love recording these so much, or at least I do. And the person that is sat to my right, as he most of the time always is back. He is back, everybody. Ben Hartshorn, the co-host, missed Monday. He hasn't recorded a podcast for 9 days. We're sat here on a Wednesday night recording this. Ben Hartshorn, out on a scale of 1 to 10. First of all, welcome back to the podcast. On a scale of 1 to 10, how much have you been missing these recording sessions for the podcast?
Yeah, thank you very much. Withdrawal symptoms from missing the Monday podcast. Yeah, delighted to be back, buzzing to be back, buzzing to sort of portray my opinion on everyone once again. I hope everyone's having a great week. So yeah, happy to be back, buzzing to be back on the EMJ podcast.
100%, 100%. Yeah, no, we're more than glad to have you on. This show adds a little bit more spice. I mean, I had to battle all the elements on Monday, recording that little
Yeah.
makeshift podcast, which was interesting to say the least. I mean, what you don't know about that podcast is I had to stop 3 times for people coming in and out of the house, as well as the dogs trying to interrupt me. It was tough, and I like my little secluded room here, and in a spot where I know no one's likely to interrupt me. Now watch this today, someone will come in and ask something, or put an animal in here with me, or some description, but we're going to work past that.
Like a
As
like
I
a Bush
mentioned at the
Tucker
start of the
trial.
podcast. Yeah, Bush Tucker trial. Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, we don't know what you can't see as well. This is a bit behind the scenes for those of you watching on YouTube. About 2 yards to the right of my camera here, there's a pet gecko in the enclosure over there. In fact, I can see him. I'm not going to turn the camera around. Usually he camouflages into things, but I can see his tail. And he looks a bit bigger than I thought as well. So yeah, that's what I'm dealing with in here. But Gecko, touch wood, is not going to interrupt us here now. As I mentioned at the start of the podcast, thank you very much to those of you who are listening. If you were listening hoping for our Room 101 little follow on from last week, we're gonna wait another week until we get some more replies. Okay, we'd love to sit here with a stash of emails and go through them and answers as to what you think is your least favorite format and why. Okay, and until we get to that point, we're not going to do it. Okay, so we want you, if you're listening to this, pass this on to someone that you know. Okay, even if they're not a podcast listener, ask them to email into us. What is your least favorite competition format and why? Ben put in and made a very valid suggestion about the waltz last week, which I think was completely fair, to be honest with you. Okay, we've had a couple of emails. We'd like a bit more. Okay, we'd like a few more. So yeah, please, if you're listening to this, pass the message on. And we want to be able to put things into our Room 101 so we can, at least on the PGA podcast, tidy up elements of club golf that we think need refining ever so slightly with your help. Okay. Past that, we played a bit of golf since we've last recorded one of these podcasts together. Ben, it was unbelievable to get up there, up at Stratton. Mind you, it was absolutely blown a gale, but unbelievable to get up there. It's been a good bit of time. I think I haven't been up there since November, and I don't remember if I don't think I played when we last went up there. So at least playing up there for me would have been last August. But Ben, how did you fancy and how did you find the weekend's golf antics with the other two as well?
I enjoyed it. I've thoroughly enjoyed it. Shame we couldn't get around 18. We had to get back for the game, which was not worth getting back for at all. But I enjoyed it. I thought the golf course was in good condition. I enjoyed playing with you three. It was good. It was cold, actually, really cold in the end. I wore shorts, trying to make a point to the world that it was warm enough to not wear shorts, and I was freezing most of the way around, but I didn't want to say anything. Great to get out playing. I thought there were some good shots going round. some excellent shots. So yeah, it was class to be back out there. It made you, yeah, it sort of brought back memories from last year. It's been a long time. I have played golf over Christmas a bit, to be fair. I did play at Kington, but playing golf in some actual like sun beaming down at you, it was a good little taster for the year ahead.
Yeah, 100%. I'm so keen to get up there on a regular basis. I actually went and played Ludlow today, as well.
Oh
So
yeah.
I feel like two rounds. Yeah, that was my first round. That was my first 18 holes since September. That I played today. So happy to get those under my belt. But obviously, up at Stretton is where I do enjoy, and I can just sort of sit back, and I massively enjoyed my round today. With incidentally, we'll come on to it at the end, but with someone who is likely to be our first ever guest on the podcast, which I'm really looking forward to. But yeah, no, it's class to be up there at Stratton and have a little bit of a knock. Really, really nice surfaces, dry as anything, greens rolling nicely. You can't complain. Mind you, it was windy, and I'm not surprised you were cold. When I saw you rock up with shorts, I was like, Jesus Christ. But I'm not surprised by anything that you do or wear on the golf course anymore. You said regretting that decision to rep the shorts.
Yeah, yeah. No, I thought I looked good, and enjoy wearing shorts. Giving my sort of my hip movement through the ball normally helps it with the shorts on, as when I sort of power it about. But yeah, no, I did regret it, but it was good, and it'll be after the last 3 days weather. It'll be nice up there. It'll be dry anywhere in the county now a little bit more, so these courses will be starting to come into their own, hopefully. Um, I don't know if you wanted to tell everyone about your final shot of the day. We finished on the 12th hole on Sunday, and we were playing skins, which is like a format needs to be sort of held into the world of golf more. I think it's a great format to keep everyone involved through the match. And in the end, we did play 12 holes of skins, and I think we went down to sort of the sixth or seventh skin we had going into the 12th. So we'd all halved sort of 6 holes in a row. There was a decent mix of golf going on. Very windy, so tough. And then Ewan decided, I mean, I didn't think you played particularly that well at times, but Ewan decided to hole like a flopper on the 12th. If you know the 12th, and you know if you go left on 12, you're pretty much dead a lot of the time. And Ewan managed to hole one, a perfect chip. So it was an interesting ending.
Was definitely an interesting ending. I think more luck than judgment on that one specifically. I was just trying to give myself a putt because you'd already been on the green, haven't you? So you already. I always
Yeah.
think with that 12th green up at Church Stretton, if any of you are ever up there, I always think that 12th green is actually one of the easiest ones to putt on. I'm for the most part round Stretton, especially, I'm never really confident on the greens. And there's a couple of breaks that I'm not really familiar with on that golf course. But with 12, it's sort of built into the side of the hill. So I always think there's relatively straight putts on 12. So I was just trying to get myself a little bit of a shot. And then I stood over there and the wind was sort of into off the right side. So I sort of played this floppy spinner and it was lucky enough to go in, which was nice. I think the skins, I think you're absolutely right. It keeps everybody interacted with the game and engaged, like you said. I think the one thing, like obviously the final sort of score is okay, I walk away with 7 skins. I definitely didn't deserve to like win by that margin. So that's probably the only negative, is it doesn't really tell you anything about the scoreline, probably doesn't tell you
No.
anything about the match, but what it does do is it keeps you sort of that last goal wins mentality, especially when loads of holes are being halved. So you just know that you needed to put a good hole together and you'd have half a chance. Like, how often do you play skins when you're playing casual golf, do you reckon?
I reckon we play not actually that much. I mean, I don't. We don't play that much casual golf by the time that the main season comes about. But with skins, I mean, play skins 5 or 6 times a year, and what it does do, it does push you, especially maybe for us two in that group where we obviously I only had 2 shots, you had obviously none, and the other two had more like 12, 13. It pushes you to make birdies and to almost force the issue, which I regret you're not always trying to do. But it is good fun when you just want to. I want to go make birdies. I'm going to try really hard here, just to try and hit the great shots. So I think that's a good thing because again, playing competitive rounds of golf when you've got a scorecard in your hand, you are it just psychology wise trying to not be defensive and sort of protect your card is a big thing. We're playing skins like that where you're just attacking and it doesn't matter if you miss because someone else might make the half or whatever. It's good for us, I think, to play that sort of format sometimes.
Yeah, and it's a good psychological exercise as well. And I think the one thing when you have had loads of halved holes in a row is it just basically means, okay, there's loads of skins to play for. Who's going to sort of pop their head
Mm.
up under pressure? And obviously, it was lucky enough to be me at the weekend. But like, I think it's a good exercise for that, when you can't really take a back seat because you can't really risk the other two halving or the other three halving, depending on how you're playing it. So I think it's a very, very good format and one that needs to be played a little bit more. Enough about us, okay? If you've got to this point, 10 minutes into the podcast, okay, we appreciate it as always. We want to hear that you guys are listening as deep into the podcast as possible. Not going to be a long podcast today, okay, because we've got not really that much to speak about. But the one thing that we do want to speak about, and I'm sure you guys want to hear about, is as he was away on Monday, we need to hear Ben's opinion on the golf just gone, and then we'll obviously both tackle the golf coming up this weekend at PGA National in Florida. But first of all, tackling the first issue, the Genesis Invitational. Ben, we have no thoughts from yourself about what happened. Sort of take us in any direction that you like regarding what you thought about the weekend and the week in particular at Riviera, and yeah, just lay out your thoughts to us.
I'll be quick. And I watched like the 14th and the final round. It was getting late, and I actually was bored, really, really shitless. Through that front nine of that first nine. I mean, again, my opinions are known about McIlroy, and Bridgman managed to sort of complement McIlroy with his boringness and absolute shite. The back nine obviously did spice up. McIlroy had a go finally, and I did see his chip in on, it must have been 11 or 12, after he messed up
Well,
10
maybe
for
well.
like, yeah, after he messed up 10 for the fourth day in a row, McIlroy. He had a go, but Don's around him was shooting 7 under, 8 under. Adam Scott shot 8 under. Kotkaniemi shot 7 under. Knapp shot 5 under. Morikawa shot 6 under, just behind him. So shooting 4 under, had a bit of a go when he fancied, he huffed and puffed, but not really. Bridgman managed to really hang on and shit himself, which I'm not surprised after his finish in at Pebble Beach. Fair play to Bridgman for getting the win. I mean, that's a heater 2 weeks he's had. We'll say that much. But boring final round. I really enjoyed the at Pebble because there was about 6 or 7 guys in it. Kitayama, fair play to him, had a go. I do like Kitayama. He won at Bay Hill a couple of years ago, and I thought this guy might give a major a go at some point. But yeah, it wasn't meant to be. Adam Scott, great seeing him up there. He is just a fan favourite of everyone, an amazing swing. But yeah, a bit of a boring round. The course was fantastic. Great to see Tiger active around the course and around the tournament. But yeah, boring winner. McIlroy again doing what McIlroy does best. Yeah, his game's going the right direction, but shit on Sunday. At least he started the week better. I mean, and again, Scheffler had a go once again. Started the week terribly with a 74. How bad is that from him? To then finish, did he squeeze the top 10? Um,
No, he's 12, unfortunately.
12. So he didn't break he didn't continue his record. So yeah, overall boring. I say like a boring week on the PGA Tour.
I think that's the issue as well. Is you keep checking the leaderboard and you go, okay, what's going to keep me entertained here? Marco Penge got off to a really, really solid start. So
Mm.
from an English point of view, we were watching that going, okay, well, can he keep it going? Unfortunately, it wasn't quite the case for him. And then you look at the end of Saturday at the leaderboard after a day of watching the golf, and you go, Jesus, I mean, we've got a leader by 6. Not many people know who he is. Okay, incidentally, he finished second in the Cognizant last year, so that's worth speaking about. But he's not in the
Mm.
field this week, so it's not really applicable for him to go back to back wins this weekend. And yeah, it was one of those where everyone's looking at McIlroy. So anything that McIlroy does, obviously, as someone from your stance on McIlroy, every time he missed a putt, every time he couldn't really get one dialed in close on a hole that was maybe gettable, you looked at that and you go, oh, this isn't turning out to be the Sunday that we hoped for. As I said on Monday, I was quite impressed with how, obviously from a negative side of things from Bridgman, but a positive from a Kitayama and obviously eventually a McIlroy, did end up being pretty close. So it gave us a little bit of drama, and Bridgman kept us at least on the edge of our seat until the very last shot. I don't know if you stayed up for that, but I was just waiting for him to hole out, and he still gave himself a 3-footer on 18, which I was prepared for disaster there, really, because obviously he's not won on tour before, and you know, he had a 3-footer at Riviera in front of Tiger to get his first win, and I was just waiting for some sort of disaster there. It never came to be. So we got there in the end, basically, is what I'm trying to say in terms of the edge of your seat stuff. But for 30, well, for 70 holes probably of the golf tournament, we probably weren't that interacted with it. So hopefully better this weekend. However, we've got some thoughts on that in just a minute, okay? Or at least I've got some thoughts on it. I'm sure you might do as well, because I'm looking at this from a very pessimistic point of view this weekend on the PGA Tour. However, before we get there, I gave my heater of the week to Adam Scott for the weekend just gone. I thought he was the most outstanding round of the week across all tours. Um, and he deservedly won that prize, in my opinion. Because you weren't on hand to give this award on Monday, or on Tuesday, excuse me, when the podcast went out, Ben Hartshorn, it's now your turn to dish out the unfortunate award, a flop of the week for the weekend prior.
Yeah, flop of the week. Flop of the week. Terrible week for flop of the week because no one played that well. Bridgman played quite well, but no one played that well. No one played that badly. Um, and I looked at the magical Kenyan Open or Kenya Open. No one played that badly there, and I can't go and rip into someone. There wasn't that much high scoring. So again, there was a lot of Kenyans, amateur Kenyans that sort of, I don't think hacked up that bad. Like 78, 74 on some of those rounds weren't even too bad. Francis Epe from India had a bit of a stinky one in Kenya, but overall, I'm not going to kill any of them because it wasn't that bad. So I'm going to, again, what I like doing is just making up some random shit and then just calling it flop of the week. And I'm going to do that again this week. And I'm gonna flop of the week. It doesn't have to be a person. It can be a course. It can be an action. And in this case, it's going to be a reaction, not an action, a reaction to something that happened. So my thing would be again, and you're right. You just mentioned Tiger. Tiger obviously plays a big part of this. I mean, Tiger hosts one event a year, and he randomly hosts the Genesis Invitational. Some ways never even won. But I mean, Bridgman on the final green has just hold a 3-footer that he left himself. Sorry, excuse me, left himself, and he decides to hole it, which is fantastic, and then just like walk off the course and like shake his caddy's hand. So Bridgman, what's his first name? Jacob Bridgman is the flop of the week this week. He had £4 million holding that putt in front of Tiger Woods on a flagship PGA Tour event, and he decides to just trundle off with his head down like he's just finished his Sunday round. So disgraceful for Bridgman. Like he just lived out his dream. Maybe that wasn't his dream. And I just think it's poor. After the bottle he did up from the beach at Pebble Beach, literally, I thought he'd be absolutely ecstatic. I'd be jumping around the green. If you remember the Canadian Open 2023, when was it Nick Taylor won? And like his whole team
Yeah,
came on and
unbelievable.
started like jumping on him and all that. That's the sort of scenes you want to see. Bridgman will not win again on the PGA Tour, and I'll say that right now. He will not win again on the PGA Tour, and he will regret that moment. Now, he's the most boring fucking guy out there in front of Tiger Woods, everyone's hero, and he decides to just walk off. No fist pump, no little jump, no little jerk, no little shriek of emotion. So Bridgman's my flop of the week. Honourable mentions again. I've just went through the Kenya Open. Garrick Higo had a crap week. Jason Day, one of my picks to start the year, had a crap week. One of my favourite players, JJ Spawn, had a crap week. But nothing can beat just the winning moment, just killing the winning moment at Riviera for Jacob Bridgman. So Jacob Bridgman is my flop of the week.
You know what? I never. Again, for those of you listening, I never have any idea what he's going to do with flop of the week. I might sometimes point him in a direction if I see something outrageous on the leaderboard just when I scan it. I never know what he's going to do. That is probably the most harsh. I mean, you win a signature event on the PGA Tour, and you also end up being flop of the week. But I also can't help but agree. 1 second. I mean, again, it's a Sunday night. I've been a bit of a, I've been a bit of a killjoy because like I've spent absolutely no time really speaking to my girlfriend probably on Sunday night. I've sat there for 3 hours, right? and it's got, obviously I'm getting maybe in the ear about how long's left, what's going on here, and I'm going, it's getting close, it's getting close. I actually snuck in a little bit of Netflix mid back nine sneakily, okay, and then
Wow.
I tuned back in with 2 holes to play. But anyway, I'm there and I'm looking forward to it. Oh my God, there's one shot in it. Bridgman's holding on for dear life here now. And you're obviously waiting for that last hole. I mean, Jesus Christ, we waited absolute 45 minutes for the last hole at Pebble. So I'm just like, come on, let's get it over with, let's get it over with. And then you stand over the 3-footer, there's a bit of drama, and you're thinking, oh my God, he's done it. And absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. I can't help but agree with you, to be honest with you, because if
Mm.
there's no standout people chopping it up on the golf course, you cannot be giving me that. Like, we want to see that first tour win. Again, he showed no emotion all week, and I'm thinking, oh my God, it's going to be an absolute relief. I would be absolutely, like you said,
Oh,
I'd fall over, I'd faint in front of Tiger, I'd do something mental, and he just did not care. And then on top of that, as I said, like, and I saw this is a bit unnecessary. He obviously probably wants a week off. He's had 2 weeks. That's fantastic. But then off the back of that, you're obviously on a heater. He's taken this week off. He'd probably be the favourite this week, and because we're going to come on
yeah.
to this week in a minute, he'd probably be the favourite, and he's just taking it off. Like Bridgman, man. Like, I hate to say it, but that there is reasons like that if you want, and maybe that's not his personality, but reasons like that mean that you're not going to be rocketed into maybe 10 names or people that, you know, names that you want to get excited to see. Because if you're just going to win a golf tournament as big as that and then just walk off to the side of the green and then tell everyone about how nervous you were, well, do it then. Anyway, I can't help but agree. The winner getting flop of the week. I can't help but agree. And as English fans as well, as I said, we're staying up late Sunday night. We've all got work the next day, and you see the winner just walk off the green like that for his first tour win. Many apologies, Bridgman. If you're not the sort of character, I do apologise. Ben probably won't apologise, but yeah, I massively agree with you there. To be honest with you, and let's see if we get a bigger reaction to a winning putt or a winning moment this week at the Cognizant. Is it the Classic or the Invitational here now? Because I always get this mixed up a bit.
Classic, I
Let's have a little
think.
look. Let's get back up. It's the Classic. Thank God for that, because I wrote this preview a few days ago. It's the Cognizant Classic. Okay, the Cognizant Classic. Um, yeah. I mean, look, how long is this going to take to preview this? Because I mean, I'm not being funny. Have you looked at the field?
I'm just literally looking at it now. Um,
I mean, can I
yeah,
tell you a stat about the field?
go on.
The highest ranked golfer in the official World Golf Rankings playing this week is Ryan Gerard, world number 28. Um,
Wow.
and the second highest is Shane Lowry, who's in the early 30s. I don't have an exact number on me this week, but like PJ Tour, I understand that you've got to have a certain amount of signature events, and I understand that it's probably a little bit better now because you know when the world's best are going to be teeing it up. Because of that, it's mandatory that you have to play in the signature events if you're a PGA Tour member
Oh, right.
at the top end of the field, okay? At the top end of the world rankings, excuse me. But the PGA National is a very renowned golf course. I put the 16th hole in my top nine in my build a 9 hole exercise that we did. It's a fantastic golf course. When you get tourists going over to Florida, the first course they usually want to play is PJ National. So we have PJ National, and then we put. I mean, this will be worse in terms of field than half the events that we get through the summer, the FedEx St Jude's, the playoffs. But you get some of those events in the middle of the year. This will be worse than that. Like, what is going on with the field, Ben? Any thoughts on the field?
I just looked through it, and yeah, it's you don't disrespect these guys, and I'm not one normally to hold off, but it is shit. Like they're just crap mid-level PGA Tour players, amazing golfers by the way, but we want to see entertainment, golf's entertainment sport. But there is one boy in the field which I knew about heading into this week, and obviously just to go because Aura players play on Aura courses, and this player is going to be playing this week. Obviously, Brooks Koepka's playing as literally the saving grace for this tournament. Other than that, literally my 3 picks I've written down for this week aren't even fucking playing. Nick Dunlap's playing, which is going to be a fucking shit show. Um, Don's like Webb Simpson's still alive. I didn't realise he's still there. Blades Brown, Sam Ryder, Stretton's right back. Stretton's right. Joel Damon. Joel Damon's one of the big names, which says a lot about this PGA Tour event. So yeah,
He'll
terrible
have the biggest
field.
crowd out there this week, apart from
Probably apart from Brooks, but yeah, absolutely. I mean, why is Larry heading out there? Like, what's he doing? Why are these guys? These guys should be out there playing. The big boys should be out here getting ready for the Masters. I don't get it. Unless they're all going to Augusta this weekend to do some practicing. Why are they not playing on like a good course, a good challenge PGA National? It's weird.
Yeah, we've obviously got the players coming up. Like, obviously that's in
Yeah.
Florida as well. So are they over there looking at that? That's definitely something that could be on the cards as to why they're not here. But I'm just so interested as to why. I mean, the obviously I know it's very vague, okay, in terms of big names, all
Mm.
right. But the last big name to win here was Justin Thomas in 2019. So I just want to take you through some of the past winners that we've got here. So 2025, Joe Highsmith. In 2024, we had Austin Eckroat. Okay. In 2023 or the 2022-23 season, we had Chris Kirk. Okay.
Mm.
In the year before that, we had Sepp Straka, who's obviously now known as a slightly bigger name. And I'll just do one more for you, as if you haven't really had enough. Sepp Straka being the biggest name really that we've had in the last 5 years. Matt Jones, the Australian, the year before
Oh.
that. So as far as big names go, we are struggling for winners here at the Cognizant at PGA National. With that being said, and last thing that I want to say as well, then this might be a reason why they've taken the events away, okay? But just a funny little stat here now, okay? The National, known for the bear trap, 16 through 18, that run through that three-hole gauntlet to finish the golf course. Is it the bear trap anymore, or is it the bear enclosure? Because I'm looking here, the last 2 years, the average winning score has been 18 under par, okay? The 10 years before that, it was an average of 8.2 under par winning score. What have they done?
Wow.
Like, have they got a new green staff and
Wow.
course management team at PGA National? Because the last
Wow.
2 years we've averaged 10 shots better winning score than the 10 years prior. And I grew up knowing this is one of the most difficult golf courses on tour, along with your Bay Hills, along with your Memorials. So, excuse me, Muirfield Village. So yeah, very interesting. With all that being said, obviously you said that you've picked three players that aren't even teeing it up this week, which is obviously difficult for you. So at the last minute, someone who's been very hot on predictions, what do you pull out a really, really big name here now? But on the last minute, what are you fancying here for this week at the Cognizant?
Cognic invitation note classic this week. I'm gonna be picking. I was sorry reading back through Doug Gim, one of the players I just looked at. I don't know who that is. Lee Hodges. But I'll give you three names that I'm going to look out for this week that you might want to look out for. One of England's great, in one of US's great imports from England, Dan Brown is playing, so we'll be keeping an eye on him. He's been terrible so far, but he's having a fucking class time out there, which I'm buzzing for him. I'd love to see him win. That'd be fantastic. Dan Brown, again, so many crap players that were all right a few years ago, like Zalatoris, Thorpe Bjornsson, again, your boy Thorpe Bjornsson. You know what? I'd fancy Thorpe Bjornsson, but I'm going to pick Brooks to win. I think he's picked this event because he knows all the shitters are going to be playing. Watch him not go and win now, or even get in the top 10. But again, PGA National, I got a feeling that suits him, a big course like that. He likes a big course. He'll go low. He had a week off. He didn't play. He hasn't played in a couple of weeks, so he's maybe hopefully been grinding away. But yeah, I'm gonna go Brooks.
Yeah, very fair, very fair. I mean, Brooks isn't actually in my consideration for this event, even though you do put forward some good points. The field's not strong, okay, and like what I absolutely love about Kepka is when he talks through his mentality when going to win big major events. And there's a clip, and obviously I'm not going to quote it, but he's basically inferring that like most of the players when it comes to majors just don't have the minerals, and then the players that do have the minerals at the start of the week won't have them for long enough on Sunday, so you've got to just stick around. And then
Hmm.
realistically, what you've got to do is hold off two or three really, really solid players and make just enough birdies to sort of fend them off effectively. Now, that's me butchering that quote, but I absolutely love that. And if you put that into application for this week, as long as he's got maybe his B game, I reckon he should be in the top 10 this week. So actually, I do agree with you. I think he's definitely a name that we've got to be watching out for. Just from a more nerdy and statistical point of view, obviously, it sounds like an under the radar pick, but for this tournament, genuinely, he's the most informed player. Ryan Gerard, okay, he's world number 28, and he's also seventh in FedEx Cup standards, and that's actually the highest ranked player in FedEx Cup point scoring for this event. So it's worth keeping a lookout for Ryan Gerard. You mentioned Shane Lowry, okay. You said why is he playing this week? He absolutely loves it around PGA National. Now, granted, he's never won, but his last five, okay, in reverse order, so from furthest away to most recent, he's been tied 36th, second, tied fifth, tied fourth, and tied 11th in his last 5 years here, and he's played every single one of the last 5 years at PGA National. It's definitely worth looking out for him, and I would, and you were very close to picking him by the sounds of it, I would pick Michael Thorbjornsen, okay, except for the fact that he had an awful week last week, and obviously off the back of the way that things ended in Phoenix for him, you'd struggle to pick him basically. But the one stat that I want to point out to you guys listening, because it's our job to do the dirty work, even though it's not really dirty going and looking at this site on the PGA Tour. It's very easy, but they've got a they've got a sort of system where they look and they go, okay, it's a stat called course fit, and they basically take the most important strokes gained stats to win at that golf course that week, and who is the hottest on those strokes gained stats, okay? And basically, Michael Thorbjornsen has got the best course fit rating to go and win or to play well around PGA National for this week, considering the stats that he's built up so far this season. So effectively, the PGA Tour are saying Michael Thorbjornsen is the best fit for this golf course this week. So if you want to read into that, go ahead. But I think he's just a little bit short on confidence after Phoenix. So I'm not going to pick him. And I am going to pick off the basis that no one knows really the names of the people that have won in the last 6. I'm going to pick Ryan Gerard. Not usual I pick someone named Gerard or back someone called Gerard. But I am doing this week, and I think that Ryan Gerard will get the job done. Under the radar player, and under the radar players win at the PGA National of late. So we're going to go with that. Okay then. So we're not doing the Room 101, okay? But to finish today's podcast, as I said, it's been a slightly shorter one than it otherwise is. We want to cover some golf news, and the most important news, really, in golf in the last however many days has been the person who carries really the torch for golf and still does remarkably, considering his inactivity over the last 2-3 years, especially. But the tournament host for the Genesis got in front of the microphones and he spoke to the media last week, and we were all sort of interested to see. I didn't watch his full 28-minute press conference, but I was very, very tempted to at one point, just to see what sort of mindset he was in, what he was speaking about. And of course, we're referring to Tiger Woods. Okay, Tiger Woods made some interesting comments, the first of which, and obviously you as a fellow Tiger Woods superfan, Benjamin Hartshorn, you will definitely have some thoughts on. The first really interesting comment that he made was he is still in contention to tee it up on the second weekend of April at Augusta National. What do you think about that? Reaction to that? Thoughts on that, etc.?
Obviously, we've been here before for many a year, the last probably 5 or 6 years with Tiger. Since he almost won the Masters, I watched Tiger Woods when I literally got to get into golf through lockdown, play in the November Masters that Dustin Johnson won, and Tiger was the defending champion. Before his big car crash started 2021, he actually played all right. He shot 5 under the first day, shot like 3 under the second day, and he was all right heading into the weekend. He then had a stinker. And if you remember, the golf super fans will remember his did he make a 9 on the 12th on the Sunday? And with no crowd there. And I just remember thinking, that is fucking crazy. I've just gone to golf, and this guy, I've just read a book about this guy. I've just watched his documentary in lockdown. Which was called Eldrick, which was a bit hounding on him, but it was interesting. And he made like a 9 or 12 or something big, and he then came in and birdied every hole in, and he ended up shooting 1 under. And I thought, fucking hell, that is the greatest golfer in the world. And I thought, and then he went. Oh no! So before that would have been, because I remember watching him at the US Open at Wingfoot, the DeChambeau, when he played there, struggled. But anyway, super excited. Whenever Tiger Woods says anything that comes out of his mouth is exciting. He said this for the last 5 years, so let's not get too excited. His body isn't great. I saw him walking in a random clip. He isn't great. I saw him in another video, and he looks fucking mental. He really is. Like, he is a transformer that's been put back together, and it with almost sort of the wrong parts. I mean, he's had a seventh back surgery. His leg is fucked since that crash. His leg was literally crushed in that crash. He should have had a leg amputation, I was reading the other day. So for him, even 2 years ago when we watched him last play the Masters, he shot like one under the one day in a windy Masters. The one, I think it was 2024 when Scheffler won, um, was amazing. Me and Euan were in Barcelona that weekend, and I thought that was fascinating watching him for about 3 holes on the Saturday when he was about 3-4 shots off, and then proper stumped the gaff out. But amazingly exciting to see him tee up. We always say it every year. Tiger Woods is great to watch him teeing up, but is it that great watching him hack it around? Again, Ewan can maybe talk about when we watched him hack it around St Andrews. We watched him live at the 150th Open, and we'll always remember that moment. But there was something very hard about it's almost like putting your dog down, something quite hard about its final days. And it felt like that at St Andrews. And what we'd give, the money we'd give, anything we'd give in our life to watch Tiger Woods compete at a Masters or a major or win a major would be disgusting. But exciting, and if his body gets to the right place for 4 days of golf, maybe. But don't get too excited because he will be limping around that Augusta, and he'll probably won't make the 4 days.
Yeah. Do you think he should tee it up though?
No, not from the videos I've seen. No, not really. You'd like to see him teared up, but just come down to the Open when we're going to be there in Liverpool at Birkdale, if and fit and ready. Go and play on the Champions Tour in a buggy and get some competitive golf in there, and then turn up at the Open, and then look to the Masters next year. Don't force it now. But again, he'll know more than we do, obviously.
Yeah. I mean, it is ridiculous. You just can't. He's like this thing that you just can't kill. Like, and I think his mindset's that you just can't kill him. Like, he is absolutely, like you said. Like, I think that's a really good analogy. He looks like a transformer being put back together, and he looks just so stiff, so just no flexibility in him whatsoever. Um, yeah, and you tell him he can't play, and he will come back and play just for the sake of it. But as you said, like, he's beating these own demons in his head, but what we're seeing is the end product, and most of the time we're going, Jesus Christ, what is this?
The
What is going on here? And
sorry,
by the way, even though he sort of did that whole goodbye at St Andrews, he'll be back because he will do it.
I've got no. Sorry, yeah, I just thinking like but his dad told him he is God's is God he's almost God's son. He's been given to us by God. He is a superhero, and in his head, he would never have changed his mentality. He is a superhero. He is God, and we see him as God, but like he is. I'm not sure. I agree. And again, we watch him at St Andrews. We watch him. We weren't there the second day, but he took over going over Silicon Bridge and saying goodbye to everyone. I mean, the Open's there next year. He will be there. So it's an
Yeah,
absolute piss take. And you know what? We'll be there to watch him. So yeah.
and we won't leave his group.
No, no, we will not. We didn't watch any good golf the whole week at St Andrews, by the way. We were the 150th Open, probably maybe the biggest major of all time, and we watched Tiger in the practice round. I sat on the range, didn't watch any practice rounds, and then we followed him for 18 Sunday Thursday afternoon, watching him play absolute shit. The other two players in his group, Fitzpatrick and Homer, shat themselves, and we didn't watch any good golf because of Tiger.
No, and we're back and we're ready for it all over again because we'll do it again, and we'll love every moment of
Absolutely,
it. But
yeah.
ultimately, we'll walk away and going, could we genuinely have shot better? On that easy golf
Mm.
course. I think the winning score for that week, what was it? 20 under, 21 under. I want to say
Yeah, I
Cam
think
Smith finished,
Cam
and
Smith, yeah,
Tiger shot six
21.
over.
Yeah. Oh, it's
Yeah.
just over the first day, and
So
then yeah. Oh God, awful.
level par, wasn't it, till Friday or something like that,
I think
So,
so. Yeah.
um, yeah, it'll be interesting to see. It'll be interesting to see, won't it? But he is a superhero, as you said. His dad told him that he was probably sent by God. Um, did God tell him though? This is really interesting because I sat there. What day was this? This would have been, I want to say maybe at the weekend or the end of last week. And we were sat there. I want to say at the weekend probably. And I was sat in Starbucks, and we were going through, because again I got told that the infamous, and someone who's in the news quite a lot, Jeffrey Epstein. I got told that there was a website where you could go through all his emails, because obviously now we know that the infamous files are out there now. And I saw a post and it was making me laugh about how Rory McIlroy was in there, and it was basically them talking about the price of his jet and whatnot. I think Epstein's pilot was talking about his jet, and I said it was my girlfriend, and she said, "Oh, like let's search it in," because I basically sort of said that there's no way that's real. That can't be real. Like all of them exactly in like a Gmail sort of format. I was like, that cannot be real. Anyway, I searched in the McElroy thing, and it was there. And I thought, oh, there you go. And I said sort of out of jest, I said, I bloody hope Tiger Woods isn't in it, thinking about all like big names. And obviously there she goes, away quiet in her corner, just typing it in. And then she goes, you might want to have a look at this. And I go, what do you mean? And anyway, I find that he is allegedly in there. And I mentioned it to you. When was it then? It would have been Saturday. So it would have been Sunday
Sunday.
I saw you. So Sunday I mentioned that to you, and you said, well, I won't say your reaction, but I was a little bit, So Tiger in supposedly in the Epstein files, allegedly in the Epstein files. And in case you're wondering, no way, no way, Jose. There's absolutely no way that's real. Okay, I'll let you be the judge now. Okay, because this is what Tiger Woods allegedly sent to Jeffrey Epstein, JEEvacation@gmail.com on the March the 9th, 2010. Okay, and I will read this out to you. And it's kind of like an Excel file or table. Okay, it's not written in sentences, it's in table format here. Okay, from Tiger Woods here now. Okay, allegedly. Um, and it's 10 lines in total, and it reads: It's important to have a woman who helps at home. It's important to have a woman who cooks from time to time. It's important to have a woman who keeps the house clean. It's it's important to have a woman who has a job. It's important to have a woman who likes you. It's important to have a woman who can be your very best friend. It's important to have a woman who can make you laugh. It's important to have a woman you can trust who doesn't lie to you. It's important to have a woman who is good in bed. And then it
Mm.
concludes with, it's very, very important that these 9 women do not know each other. Um, Sincerely, Tiger Woods, sent via BlackBerry from T-Mobile. Ben, what are our thoughts?
What are our thoughts? I've never heard so much. Again, you sort of mentioned this on Sunday. I've never heard so much fucking bullshit in my life. Um, I've never heard so much crap in my life. It is complete rubbish. I promise you that is complete rubbish. That has been made up. That has been that is a fake email. But it is funny, and he makes some good points in that little email he sent it to allegedly sent, which he didn't send. He may have had a BlackBerry at the time. I was just thinking about that. And you know what? He was in a bit of a dodgy time in 2010. Poor Tiger. But there's no way that's real. It's freaking outrageous. But ultimately, it's pretty harmless, whatever, I think. And again, I searched it into the news today, and everyone can go and search it into the news. That nothing comes up if you put in Tiger Woods, Jeffrey Epstein files. Nothing really, really nothing. So I just think other big names again done for being in this file. Tiger Woods would be on the front page at least once or twice by now if it was real, I think. But it is fascinating, and it is a little bit terrifying. But yeah, terrifying for us Tiger Woods fans out there.
Yeah, it was definitely a scare, to say the least. I think the one
Yeah.
thing to add in context is that there's no email in connection to this Tiger Woods profile. So I mean, we can't verify that either. And they've had no other form of communication.
No.
So Tiger's just thought, let me just drop this one, and just let me just drop this little anecdote over to Epstein, and I'm sure he can learn a thing or two from it. Unfortunately, and not to make we don't make jokes about this sort of behaviour from one
No,
of the world's worst people ever to exist. We
no.
don't make jokes and we don't make fun of it. But I have a feeling that this little almost piece of advice from this Tiger Woods account here, I don't think Epstein would have learnt anything from this. I feel like he might have been clued up on such subjects, and in that sense, I find it very, very hard to believe that Tiger Woods just thought, you know what, on the 9th of March at 7:33 p.m. on 2010, I'll just drop Epstein this little one.
Yeah, he just
But
popped one in there. Oh,
unbelievable, unbelievable. So to conclude, for those of you worrying, we think that this is absolute bullshit. We think that no chance this has happened. And as Ben made the very good point, and I was making this point at the weekend, Tiger Woods at this time would have been the most famous sports person on the planet. I mean, it was probably just as Ronaldo and Messi were coming into their own. But I feel like that was mid 2010s that sort of that craze really hit. Tiger Woods and LeBron James, I was thinking probably around 2010, and the most famous sports people in the world. Obviously, for us UK guys, you might not give a toss about LeBron James, but they would have been the most famous people in the world. And for him to just do that randomly, and also the relationship, the relationship that he had with the media and his personal life probably coming out in and around that time, for him to just think, do you know what, I'm going to drop this to someone who he probably knew was one of the worst people on the planet, was absolutely outrageous proposition. So
I
we come to this conclusion on the EMJ PGA podcast that we don't think it's real. Ben, anything to add off the back of that?
no, just yeah, I don't think it's real. It is a dodgy time that is after obviously Tiger. What Tiger said there isn't something that's that outrageous for Tiger's actions, but yeah, um, it is weird. And you know what, Tiger Woods, what you just said there, what you alluded to, Tiger Woods would have known what Jeffrey Epstein was. He was in there with the President of the United States, with every single famous person in America. Tiger Woods is big enough to be the US president. There's not many US people out there who are that size. I mean, Lance Armstrong 10 years before that was that big. Nowhere near as big as Tiger. Your LeBron James, Michael Jordans, all those dons. These guys could be presidents. And so Tiger Woods would have known what was going on. I'm pretty sure Epstein had his first case, first allegation against him by then, definitely by 2010. So it's not real. And even if it was real, we don't believe it's real. And we will act like it's not real. So same with every single
Yeah.
cheating scandal he's been part of. We, us males, um, will not frown upon our God. As much as women want to, much as women hate Tiger Woods, we will never stray away from our sort of our master, to put it that way.
Yeah, no, I do agree. I do agree. The personal life is the personal life, and then what we see out on the golf course is two separate things, and it always is with sports people. As long as it's not absolutely catastrophic what they're doing out there, I feel like you can bypass a lot of those things. As harsh as that sounds, but that's the reality of
Yeah,
it, because that's just how it works, and it is how it will continue to work. But anyway, yeah, cleared, and the judge and the jury here on the MJ PGA podcast clear him of any wrongdoing. Absolutely nothing wrong with that, because we believe it to be absolute bullshit. Okay, that's it for today and today's podcast, the late week podcast. Okay, we've covered everything there. We didn't expect on episode 9 to be diving into the Epstein files, but we have, and we have done. And if we need to do it again, we bloody well will do.
we
Okay,
will.
we're responsible here, and we'll clear up anything that needs to be cleared up in relation to the golf world. Okay then. Thank you very much for listening. Okay, just want to let you know about what's coming up on the podcast. I have managed to secure two people, two guests over the next couple of weeks to be able to come on. So your late podcast in the next 2 weeks are likely going to be guest centered. Okay, not for the whole podcast. They're going to be sort of like little cameos in and amongst what we usually do. But we're looking forward to having guests on. We're looking forward to spicing the podcast up a little bit. The last thing we want it to do here on the EMJ PGA podcast is it to become stale. So we don't want you to think you're getting the same thing every week. We want to spice it up. We want to interact, and we're going to be doing that over the next couple of weeks, which is fantastic. As I said at the start, please share the podcast. Please pass the podcast around to people that you know, and pass them on our Room 101 initiative, which at the moment is get rid of a rubbish club competition format, because there are some rubbish ones out there, and we need your help to be able to at least hear some cases for other ones. As I said, Ben put forward the waltz. We've got some other ones out there as well. But that is it for today. Ben, any final thoughts?
No. Enjoyed that. Please share the podcast. Please share it around. Tell your friends. We want to hear more of your formats, your shitty formats, because I promise you, my golf club does, other golf clubs do it. They make up their own formats and they play some wacky stuff out there. And again, go and have a look at your senior section, your ladies section. They love playing some of the shittest formats of golf. So let us know.
Absolutely, very good message out there, and a very good point. You often find some of these sections of your golf club will come up with some outrageous stuff, and you go,
yeah,
I could have thought of something better in my sleep, maybe.
Yeah.
So yeah, absolutely, go and have a mooch around and come back to us, report back to us, and we'll be very interested to know. Okay then, thank you very much for listening. Enjoy the golf this weekend as much as you can. We haven't touched on the South Africa Open, but enjoy that if you're watching that instead of the Cognizant. And we will speak to you again next Tuesday to review all the action as always. Thank you very much for listening, and we will catch you next week.